And as I'm speaking, I am keenly aware that I am not just speaking in this moment at this time. I'm speaking into posterity. I understand that the words that are being spoken through me now will echo through time. It's that serious. This moment has been orchestrated by God Himself. This is the moment where God's purpose has collided with man's plans. It's that serious. I was born for this moment, not the radio show, not the comeback swing, the message of the empowerment of the kingdom, that where there is liberty, there's real freedom. So I want to begin to talk to you about what the vision for comeback swinging is and what this means in the kingdom. For those of you that follow me on social media, I'm on at Darrell Bennett Jr. and at Darrell Bennett on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think now we're on Trilla. Every week it seems like it's another platform out. And I've begun to unveil, me and some of the folks on my team, the steps that are being taken now. And one of the things that we began to slowly tease out was this sense of this journey that God started in me personally, but I didn't recognize was so much bigger. Comeback swinging, I knew when I wrote the book, dealt with my personal story, but what I did not recognize was that He was connecting His work in my life with His work all over the globe. So let me stop for a second and step back. You've heard about church. You've heard about Christ, but you probably have not been told much about the kingdom. And I was saying about my social media platforms because I had purposely used church language to announce this new stage. I purposely used language like public ministry, consecration, setting aside, covering, church words, because I want to begin to unchurch people to understand that the gospel was never just about the church, but it was about the kingdom of heaven. And so even in the language that we are using specific, intentional language to draw attention to the fact that this is not that. Well, what do I mean? In Acts, we are told that at the inaugural reign of the Holy Spirit, the tongues fell on them. And they began to speak in tongues. And that may not mean much to you, but just for a second, go with me. The reason why that means so much is because what the Holy Spirit was showing in that moment is that I am releasing a new gifting that has never been released over the world. And so what the Holy Spirit was showing, even after everything that happened in the Old Testament, even after Jesus had come, even after the death, even after the resurrection, the Holy Spirit was showing there's still something new. And the inaugural reign of the Holy Spirit, as they spoke in tongues, and what seemed to be confusion was actually unity, was the Lord's way of showing this is not that. We have approached life as the church, and we've been preached as the church, and we've talked about religion, but now the freedom has come through the kingdom. And if we approach the kingdom as we approach church, if we approach this thinking that this is that and that is this, we will miss it. And so the language that we're using as we talk about the kingdom, and I don't want to get into too much. There's so much that I want to pour out. It's so much that I want to pour out. The kingdom. For those of you that listening to me, that's been in church your whole life, you probably never really heard the kingdom talk. The kingdom. I mean, yes, they mention it here and there, but really do we talk about the kingdom? It was the first thing that Jesus said. It was the first thing. It was the very, very first thing. Blessed are the poor in spirit. But theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He was inviting us to understand it's not about the church, it's the kingdom. And then the disciples said, Jesus, teach us how to pray. You know, like like John did. Teach us. And Jesus said, pray on this wise, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. In the very first sentence he says in the prayers he instructs us, he says, thy kingdom come. Jesus was concerned about the kingdom. Jesus never preached to church. In fact, we are told that Jesus went about preaching the gospel of the kingdom. Somehow, some way, we've gotten to this place where we've talked all about the church. But as I search the word, not just the scriptures, but the word, I find that we're far more concerned about the church than Jesus ever was. I would go as far as to say that much of what we call church today, we would have to tell Jesus, no, you can't sit there, Jesus. That's reserved. Oh, no. You can't do that, Jesus. We've got protocol here. And so I am purposely using church language to a crowd that is both churched and unchurched to reintroduce the church people to the kingdom and to introduce those who have never seen Christ to the love of Christ through the lens of the kingdom. Comeback swinging is kingdom work. This is kingdom work.